Hello John, we are starting to see signs of spring here up in Norway as well. The snow is melting and the sun is coming back, so it's time to check the aircraft for a new season. Tomorrow I'm going to have a flight, so I thought that it was a good idea to come here to the airport today and do a more extended inspection of the aircraft. Then I have more time if I find something that's wrong, and I can contact the maintenance crew if I need any help. And of course it's important to check the handbook if the aircraft manufacturer or the engine manufacturer have some special procedures in place for long-term storage. So I will give 5 tips about how to get the aircraft ready for a new season. My first tips is about fuel, and remember that fuel can only be stored for a limited time. And when it comes to draining, remember to do that before you move the aircraft. I prefer to drain the aircraft to check for any contamination before each flight. Tips number 2, it's about the cockpit, and first of all start to check the documents and see that you got all the documents in place. Especially the airworthiness review certificate and the insurance papers may have expired. The next step is to check the checklists actually, and that you got all the checklists you need, both the emergency checklists and the normal checklists. This aircraft is used for training, so we have 2 sets of checklists, and then it's important that you have the same checklist for both sets. There may have been some updates, so you could also just check that as well. During the winter, wildlife, mice may have been inside the aircraft, and then you need to check if you see any droppings or maybe a nest or some kind of indications. And you need to do that before you clean it. And when it comes to cleaning, I always check the windows and the windshield to see that they are in good conditions as well. Because especially in low sun setting, it's very important to have clean windows. This aircraft is fitted with a G1000 setup, the avionics, and then we need to see that the database is updated, especially because this aircraft is also used for IFR flying. My third tips is about the exterior of the aircraft. Of course, I use the pre-flight inspection checklist that we use for each inspection, but when the aircraft have been stored for a while, it's a good thing to add a couple of items. First of all, I will check the pressure of the tire with a gauge, and also check if I have any flat spots if the aircraft has been sitting in the same place for a long time. Another thing to check is also the brakes, and I always feel if I have any leakages, or checking the floor if there's some wet spots. Tips number 4 is about the engine. So if your aircraft has limited access to the engine room, you may remove the cowling for a better inspection. Then you can check for leaks, you can check for any damage or wildlife. Many aircraft also have the battery mounted on the firewall, so you might check the battery as well and even charge it or top it up to be fully charged when you are going to do the first startup. If you don't feel comfortable to do this by yourself, please contact any of the maintenance crew you have available. The 5th and the last tip from me is to do a maintenance flight. This is a flight where the purpose is to check if the aircraft have the right performance and works well. So I hope you found my tips useful, John, and back to you in Cologne.